Federal government's tax revenue rises 30% to 2.65 trillion naira. Association of Professional Bodies in Nigeria support fuel subsidy removal. Mainland Chinese stocks bounce more than 1%. Chinese social media giant Weibo debuts in Hong Kong. Plus, oil hovers around $75 as investors assess Omicron's impact. This is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us on the business side of life, and we'll start by telling you that revenue into the Federation account from value added tax and company income tax rose by 30.1% year-on-year to 2.85 trillion naira in 9 months at the end of September, from 2.19 trillion naira in the corresponding period of last year. Data for third quarter 2021 on VAT and CIT released by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) over the weekend showed that VAT recorded stronger growth at 40% as against the 20% growth recorded in CIT during the 9 to 21 months period, while the total VAT collections rose to 1.51 trillion naira in 9 months to 21 from 1.08 trillion naira in the corresponding period of last year, indicating 40% increase. The CIT revenue rose to 1.34 trillion naira in 9 months to 21 from 1.11 trillion naira in 9 months in 2020, indicating 20% increase. And now, President Muhammadu Buhari has transmitted the Financial Bill 2021 to the Senate for consideration and approval. The legislators have also condemned the inclusion of Nigeria in the COVID-19 red list by the British government and called for its reversal.
Seeks to support the implementation of the 2022 federal budget by proposing key reforms to specific taxation, customs, excise, fiscal and other relevant laws.
The National Multi-Sectoral Plan of Action for Food and Nutrition 2021 to 2025 has been launched in Abuja. The 5-year plan is expected to guide implementation of the intervention programs to address hunger and malnutrition across all sectors of the economy. Neka Oko reports.
That with this, we will help grow nutrition of our children, and they will develop much better.
A round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Action plan launched. Time to show commitment in reducing hunger and malnutrition to lay a strong foundation for improved standard of living and socio-economic development. The launch is a means to an end, so more work at this time is needed within these 5 years to get tangible results. For the Minister of State, Budget and National Planning, no fears in meeting of the target.
Our renewed vision is a Nigeria where all children, particularly the most vulnerable, have access to safe and nutritious meals. Health is only wealth when our food becomes our medicine, and our medicine is our food.
Malnutrition has multifaceted causes and requires solutions that are multi-sectoral in outlook.
The country is taking an holistic view of addressing the challenges through looking at the food system in its entirety.
Perhaps even more important than these partnerships will be the leadership required to drive through the objectives of the plan.
We also want to use this opportunity to call on all, especially all line MDAs, to please allocate and promptly release adequate funds for the implementation of this plan.
The National Multi-Sectoral Plan of Action for Food and Nutrition, if effectively implemented, will reduce the proportion of people who suffer malnutrition by 50% and increase exclusive breastfeeding rate to 65%. In Abuja, Neka Uku.
The federal government says it is willing to support young people with creative ideas to produce goods and services towards minimizing import and promoting economic growth in the country. This was the position of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo speaking through the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, at the Innovation Fellowship for Aspiring Inventors and Researchers, IFAIR, in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
35-year-old Michael Adekunle is one of many people using prosthetic limb after losing his right leg in an auto crash 9 years ago. Now he's working on a locally produced, compatible and affordable prosthetic device to help accident victims like him with the support of IFAIR initiative.
So it's an alternative modification of device to improve the locomotion or movement of post-surgical patients to ensure effective rehabilitation.
Michael is among inventors and innovators here at the IFAIR 2, an initiative of the Embassy of State of Israel, Office of the Vice President of Nigeria, and Innovate Hub. This is to advance innovation and entrepreneurship in Nigeria.
Young people come together who are creative, who are determined, who are prepared to work, who wants to change the world, who have dreams, we must support you. So we want to assure you that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari will give you every support.
In the 21st century, knowledge dictates and defines economies. Knowledge economy, it is called. We cannot be different.
The ecosystem of innovation in Nigeria is already stable and existing. What we need is to nurture it and let it grow and assist it in any way we can. IFAIR 2 is scaling up everything we've done last year. Last year we had 21 graduate fellows. This year 58 new fellows are starting the program.
For Michael and other participants, the initiative provides access to an ultra-modern fabrication and innovation hub where they will develop their prototypes and make their contribution to societal growth. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
From there, the Association of Professional Bodies in Nigeria, APBN, has thrown its weight behind the federal government on the decision to do away with petrol subsidies as contained in the 2022 budget. Speaking in Abuja, Akin Oyebola, president of the bodies, emphasized that Nigerians must look inwards to reduce pressure on foreign exchange while leveraging on opportunities provided by the African Continental Free Trade Area. Leah Katung Baba today takes it from here.
The economic calendar for 2021 is gradually grinding to a halt, and professional bodies in the country are taking stock and making projections into the future. National interest is at the heart of this engagement, with a call on government at all levels to insist on service delivery only by those professionally certified to do so. Looking into the next budget, APBN say the government did well by instituting an end to the era of petrol subsidies.
If we get sincere with ourselves, it's just a matter of time. Everything will ease off. And those who are importing will import and sell at a competitive price to us. And I'm telling you, the moment there is no subsidy, no rich man is getting very rich on us, and the whole thing will go around.
The latest trade report released by the National Bureau of Statistics indicates Nigeria's trade balance fell in the negative by 3.023 trillion naira in the third quarter of 2021. Oyebola said enhancing local production capacities and consumptions is vital in reversing this trend.
The government doesn't have any magic coin. If you keep asking for dollars, you are putting pressure on the hard currency.
The focus here is on analyzing national policies for catalytic national development, with a call on Nigerians to avoid overheating the polity and unite for a more prosperous nation. In Abuja,
Oil prices steadied near $75 a barrel on Wednesday, taking a breather after strong gains earlier this week, as investors continued to assess the impact of the Omicron variant on the global economy and fuel demand. Brent crude futures dropped 0.25% to $75.25 a barrel after settling 3.2% higher on Tuesday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $71.78 a barrel, down 0.4%, having gained 3.7% in the previous session, after dropping by over 16% since November 25 to around $69 a barrel. Brent crude futures rebounded by nearly 10% since December 1st on signs Omicron has had only a limited impact on oil demand so far. And now our discussion will center on developments in the energy market, and the segment is earlier recorded by Musa Abubakar with Dr. Billy Gillis-Harry, National President, Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria.
Now, the emergence of the new strain represents the biggest threat to the recovery in global oil consumption. The identification of the new COVID variant has already prompted the US, the European Union and the UK to restrict air travel and trigger a sell-off across financial markets, even as researchers have yet to determine whether it's more transmissible or lethal than previous strains. On this note, I have joining me is Dr. Gillis-Harry, National President. Petron is here with me. You're welcome to Business Express.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Nigerians.
Okay, for a few weeks now since the announcement of the new variant, the oil prices have been fluctuating. How do you see this going as the year winds down?
Well, first of all, it's a shock, and I think that the entire industry, both the financial and the oil and gas sectors, are receiving the shock very negatively and very violently. The Omicron virus that has just been introduced into the fray, it's really something that I don't think anyone in the world expected, because we've already started getting used to the vaccination process, and most of us have already taken 3 shots. We've done the 2 shots and then 1 booster, and we're hoping that the world should come normal. So yes, clearly you can see that the Omicron virus has already started a process to trigger travel bans. And that's going to affect, financial markets very, very negatively. People may not be able to move very easily. Some of these things are not easy to discuss over telephones or WhatsApp messages or over the internet, especially because of the hacking that's going on across the world. So the Omicron virus that has now been introduced into the fray is something that we really need to be careful about. I'm sure you're already reading that the U.S. president is already strategically ordering for strategic oil reserves to be released. So what that means is that demand will be low, especially for us as Nigerians. It's going to impact negatively on us if that happens.
So we're going to see prices dropping.
The price is already dropping. Price dropped in the last 3 days. It has already lost about $4 to a barrel. So it's a very big blow that's going to be affecting the country.
Just yesterday we saw Saudi Arabia raise January selling prices for all crude grade sold to Asia and the US. Are we likely to see some sort of energy crisis?
Well, the Saudi Arabians seem to have a clearly defined method of doing diplomacy with oil and gas, and also with their financial engineering. So I'm very certain that there must be a critical evaluation that have given rise and understanding to price increases, because prices are plummeting, so obviously that's going to affect demand. So if prices are increased by them to the Asian market, it must be for a specific targeted reason, because the Asians are the ones that are buying more of the crude oil from the OPEC area. So yes, it's going to impact in the country, because the price is high and the virus is now making staff to be cut down, travel areas and businesses to kind of almost get to a point where they want to stop. It will be difficult, for energy needs requirements to be met.
Okay, are there concerns to further reviews with OPEC and its allies maintaining 400,000 barrels per day amid the fears of the...
Well, certainly there will be reviews. I'm sure that we heard His Excellency Mr. Bakindo already let us know that OPEC is working hard to see how they can be able to increase, that. So yes. But we have to be careful in making these computations, because at the end of the day, if there is no demand, there will be no supply. So we need to be cautious about how we raise our production, cap, and then also the pricing that we also pay for. And except we have some kind of engineering that will help us to be able to consume our own product and grow our own internal economy within the OPEC region.
But again, this highlights the need for diversification.
Clearly, diversification is what we should not even be talking about, is what we should be doing about. We have quite a lot, and I want to be specific about Nigeria. Nigeria has very highly intelligent human capital, restless, if I have to use the word positively, to grow entrepreneurial capacity. So, and there's a lot to be done in the world. Challenges are all, fashion is getting its own fair cut, the movie industry, agriculture, which we could even engage in much, very robustly to grow cassava, grow products that will be able to give us value, that we can get ethanol to make our petroleum products, to be usable at the price that's affected. So of course, it goes without saying that diversification should not be paid lip service to. It should be what we should be doing now.
Okay, there's this ongoing debate about removing oil subsidy.
Yes.
What's your take?
Well, you see, that is a conversation that's long overdue. The reality that in my capacity as the manager of the most critical last mile in the downstream sector, because whatever you do is Petrom that brings petroleum products, gas, oil, petrol to the market woman, to the CEO in the office, even to the president, because we are the ones that really bring the meeting point for everybody. So we know better, and we should know how it feels. Now, when we are in the subsidy regime, what exactly can we say is the benefit to the Nigerian consumer? So, the arguments that arrive, don't remove oil subsidy, if you remove oil subsidy, even some of the economic postulations that are made by giving 5,000, for me, I think is lame. What is required is we must take the bull by the horn. We must gallantly and productively work out a process to stop oil subsidy and walk into the process of deregulating the entire petroleum sector. And then we can now work out a very effective economic mitigation process to make sure that inflation is curtailed. Transportation, the rails, food, medicine. These are things that we need to be able to invest that kind of money on. And then, if transportation, for instance, is made to be easier for Nigerians and subsidy is removed, nobody is going to feel the impact, because then we can be looking for ethanol to mix in our petrol and be able to run it. And then the Nigerian gas expansion program that is being talked about, we again as retail outlet owners are the ones that will give the impetus for that to happen. So we encourage the government, we encourage the legislation, we even encourage Nigerians to come to the table with honesty that we can't allow this economy to die. This is the only country we have. We must love our country enough to understand what is real. And politics should be removed from subsidy.
Okay, we woke up to the news that the UK has imposed a travel ban on Nigeria.
Yes.
What's your view as in how to address this variant and its intended or likely impact on the economy?
Well, already right now, I did an experiment. I went to the US with a negative test. I left the US. Of course, I did a booster shot. I left the US without a negative test with my Nigerian vaccination card. I was allowed to travel. I got into the UK and I was quarantined 2 days to do a 2-day test. 2-day test was done, it came negative. Lateral test came negative. And then I wanted to come back to Nigeria. I was now obligated to do a full PSR. I did that and it came negative, and I'm in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, I've done a 2-day test. Now, the reality is, if we already have a process to check our data, as I have just described, there should not be any reason why we should be afraid to do a travel ban. But of course, we have allowed our entire economy and what we're doing to rest on Western influences, because the reality, we are over 200 million Nigerians. We can grow our economy internally and make sure that we produce and eat and utilize what we have. So if we could be able to work on that, which is not, it's not a rocket science, we already understand that, and we are leaders in the market in West Africa. So look at the size of the population. What is needed? Clothes to wear, food to wear, the services to be given to retail outlets, cars, vehicles, and all of that. We can generate a robust economic activity all by ourselves. So I think that the travel ban is going to impact on us who are dependent on traveling. I mean, when we were younger, we didn't go to America for our college education because it was said that our WAEC was superior to a WAEC degree, to a US first degree. But now, where are we? So these are things we need to get back and redesign.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Billy Gillis-Harry.
Thank you so much.
Well, global stocks in third day of gains as Omicron fears ease. Details of market activities with Neka Oko.
Hello and welcome to the global market segment. Asian markets were solidly green in Wednesday trade as investors took confidence from reports that the Omicron variant could be less dangerous than feared. Japan's Nikkei 225 climbed 1.42% to close at 28,860.62. The Shanghai Composite in mainland China jumped 1.18%, while in Hong Kong, the Hang Seng Index topped 0.06%. U.S. stock indices also rose in early trading. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 49 points, S&P 500 topped 0.23%, and Nasdaq 100 0.34%. In Europe, stocks were mixed, with investors digesting the latest news around the new Omicron COVID variant. Germany's DAX depreciated by 0.25%, London's FTSE topped 0.34%, and CAC 40 of France dipped 0.15%. It was a weak start for African markets on Wednesday, but stocks are expected to close the day similar to their global counterparts. Kenya's Nairobi All Share led losses with a 0.96% decline, followed by South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40, while Namibia's overall index and Ghana's GSE Composite were marginally positive. And that's it from me. It's back to the presenter.
Thank you, Neka. And on that note, Business Express returns Thursday at 9:30 a.m. I'm Benny Adams saying, stay safe.